I agree. So they're not equal in every shape and form, but the roles and distinction has a place. Women, for example, I'm not going to let women, if I were in control of this, just go in manual labor and do all this dirty work that men are physically well enough to do. Physical labor, let men do it. They have the muscles. Why should women go and do these kind of things? She can be. It's not about wants. It's about.
Well, that's what rights are about. It's like freedoms, isn't it? It's like choices.
Would you want women to be a sex worker if she wants to?
If she chooses to be, yeah.
Isn't that degrading for a woman to be a prostitute? No, let's understand something.
It's her body. Why
No.
is somebody else's choice?
Isn't that degrading though? So basically now you're saying
I would choose to do myself,
it's not about
but it's her choice.
it's not about your choice, it's about her choice, right? So even
Your choice.
is
What you're saying.
no, it's not my choice. You're saying if women wants to degrade themselves by being a prostitute, it's okay to you.
I'm saying it's her choice whether she does that. I don't think that's an ideal.
So if a woman wants to wear a hijab, it's her choice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's
so
her
why
choice, yeah.
so why are women being mocked because she's wearing a hijab?
I'm not mocking anyone.
Not you, people. So basically, you will be quite open and vocal against these people who say, why are you saying these women are oppressed because they're wearing a hijab? It's their choice. Yeah.
Wait, say that again?
So you would be vocal against those women or men who say Muslim women are oppressed because they wear hijab. You'd say, you're wrong to say that because it's her choice.
That's an interesting. I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest. Because I think if it genuinely is a woman's choice, then it's her choice. But like, I think in a lot of cases, it's the men in either her family or in the wider Muslim community who make them feel like they have to wear hijab.
That's, I think, a cultural thing. A culture or a society
Right.
dictates how people should
You
dress.
can't really separate a religion out from
Would
culture,
you not
right?
agree? Would you not agree? Often culture, state, society dictates how we dress.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, like I can't go to work, in my birthday suit. I have to work in a way, professional way. So it's not wrong then if external to your own choice, there is a body or institution that tells you what to dress because for the betterment of the society.
Yeah, I think it's a really complicated question, and it's like very difficult to unpick like why people make decisions. But you can't deny that there is a lot of pressure from the men.
Some societies, yes. 100% agree.
So
Some
you're
societies.
like,
So don't become. I'm asking you personal questions,
Yeah.
right? So what I want to know, what I want to know is, I really want to know about your belief about there's no evidence for God or there's no proof for God. What would convince you that God exists?
I don't really want to get into a discussion about this.
Because that's what I think is fundamental. Because if you then believe in God and God tells you you should behave in this way, speak nicely, be just, be fair, don't lie, don't cheat, don't commit genocide, you'd follow that lifestyle. But if you don't believe in God, people can commit genocide, people can really exploit and abuse others because there's no accountability. If you can get away with it,
So if
you get away with it.
If you learn that God didn't exist, you would do all those things. then
No,
you
what
would
I'm
do
asking
that.
is, what would
It's a fiction,
convince
there's
you?
a reason, like,
What would
you don't
convince
see,
you
like,
that God exists? Because I see
Okay,
evidence all
but
around me.
Some sort of supernatural being that was like causing some effect that was outside the laws of nature and outside the laws of science, which I never see any
Okay,
evidence.
the same being that you're talking about is the being that has put in our world the physical laws which are implemented in the real world.
Okay, so let's just say that that is real. Why would that being care what clothes a woman wears?
No. Now you're actually just jumping. We need to first acknowledge whether there is such a being. We need to acknowledge such a being exists or not.
You're taking sort of like a metaphysical claim about God's existence, but also tied in with that you're like making a claim about the religion.
No, we will
And
come to
I
the
don't
point.
want to be like on your YouTube channel, by the way.
I don't have these YouTube channels. So you can ask the cameramans about how they want
I
it.
don't want to be on your YouTube channel.
We just
Okay.
Yeah. What I was saying, if you consider that these physical laws that are operational in the universe, either you explain them, because we want a best explanation.
I can't say for sure that God doesn't exist. Obviously, nobody can. No one knows.
But
for
you're
sure
at,
that God
but you're
exists.
questioning whether there's evidence for it or not, right?
Well, there is no evidence.
Right. So when I'm pointing towards you an evidence, the existence of physical laws themselves do not pop from nothing by magic, because we don't believe in magic. Do you believe in magic? So what would be your best explanation for the existence of physical laws which are operating under our cosmos?
An unknown, but science doesn't really know the answers to that yet. But just because we don't know doesn't mean that God did it.
See?
Because,
You're looking at the evidence, and you know that the laws themselves cannot come by itself from nothing or by magic.
Yeah.
Neither of the options are reasonable.
But then there's a third
But
option,
which
that
is
we just don't know
no,
the answer.
don't know is not the answer. If I go to an exam, and there are 10 questions, let me highlight what I mean. Sorry to interrupt. 10 questions, and each one I say, I don't know. Do you think I would get any marks? I would get 0, because that's not the right answer.
It's not like getting marks.
No, it's not the right answer.
I believe in science, and sometimes
So do I.
the best scientific approach is to say I don't know an answer.
But that's not the right answer.
You don't know the answer, you don't just guess.
But that's not
gonna
the
be
right
worse
answer.
score on your
No,
exam
what I'm
than
saying is,
saying
I don't
You
know.
genuinely don't know the answer.
I don't know
We
is
don't know
not.
how humans evolved, or how any life on Earth evolved until Charles Darwin.
Humans haven't
created the
evolved.
ocean. Sorry?
That's a belief that human has evolved. What's
You
your
don't
evidence?
even believe it.
No. I'm asking you. What's your evidence? What's your evidence human evolved?
The fossil record.
Okay, let's talk
DNA
about one by one. Fossil record. So I see in a fossil record in a strata, certain species, not so developed, then develop further. How do you infer one gave rise from the other?
Forget fossils then, just look at
DNA.
DNA.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah.
From the DNA itself, how do you infer that I have
Okay,
evolved?
So it's actually really interesting how you do that. You can take a DNA sample from one species, say a human, and then take DNA from a different species,
Like a cat.
another primate or a cat, and you see that we share more of our DNA.
Have I
in
evolved
common
from a cat?
With other primates, and then more in common with a cat than we do with a banana, and then we share
Do you know how
more
much-
in common with a banana than we do with like an E. coli bacteria. You can see, you can trace back because we are related to cats. We're cousins to cats.
Do you know how
go back
much we
farther.
share in our DNA contents with cats?
Like 60%, I don't know.
Yeah, I think more than that. So the question is, the moment somebody says we are evolved from it, what's the evidence that we evolved from a cat?
I just explained.
We evolved from a cat?
From a cat, no. That we're cousins to a cat.
So you are now saying, just because of, so you're saying all of this points to common ancestry.
Yeah.
Yeah, common ancestry, just because of DNA similarities. Yeah.
Yeah.
What if all of these are designed by God to be similarities because it's a design feature? For example, a design feature for a hand is how it's going to be. So the genes, no, I'm explaining. No, this is an alternative scientific explanation. The hand will have certain genes to control the hand movement, the muscles, the ligaments, the bones, the flesh, and so on. So if we have now in one animal, that can be used in a template with another animal because it shares the same kind of design features of a hand, what the hand needs to do. Just because now we have a common, all of the similarity because of an organ function, it doesn't mean we have a common ancestor. It doesn't follow.
Well, I think you're right. You need to read the science section.
No, I have read science. You see, that's the problem. You automatically dismiss people because they disagree with it. I'm bringing you from genetics.
It's okay to dismiss someone who doesn't understand the scientific concept.
What have I not understood? Tell me, what have I not understood?
Like the basic rules of genetics.
And what is
selection.
natural selection is a model to explain the variation that we see in nature.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean this is one of the models and the only model. There's various other models. It's not just Darwinian, post-Darwinian, pre-Darwinian. There's so many different models in terms of why you have genetic variety. You should know that. Or is it that you haven't read about those things?
Sexual selection.
So you haven't read. Okay, let me just give you one example of how people misunderstand science. One example, only one example. Have you heard about the genetic studies in twins which are identical and whether the same twins share the sexual orientation of being a homosexual?
I feel like we're getting distracted talking about this because, fundamentally, it's not really. It shouldn't. I don't know. The way I see it, you can still believe in a God and believe in science. The two aren't mutually exclusive. So I don't understand why, fundamentalist, religious people.
You're a fundamentalist scientist, not scientist,
That doesn't
scientist.
make sense because
because you're not dealing with.
Change their beliefs
But
and new evidence
but
arises
look,
and science
I'm open to
will-
evidence, and I analyze evidence and accept evidence. So when I see the physical.
Just listen to my point. It's like there's no reason you can't accept all of the science as it is. But just
Do you
say,
believe in the
"Oh, okay."
multiverse theory?
Just let me finish my point. But there's no reason you can't accept all the scientific evidence that there exists in the world, but also believe in a God. Like many people do that. I know people who do that. So I don't understand why you have to change the scientific evidence.
I haven't changed the scientific evidence.
Well,
I'm
you have.
questioning. I'm
It's
questioning.
explained
Look,
biology in a way that doesn't
I am
make sense to any
questioning.
biologist.
I am
It's like-
questioning. I am ready to discuss with any biologist, any geneticist. What I'm saying is, you dismiss people when they talk on the very same level of science. That's the problem that I see in Speaker's Corner. Look, I have studied genetics. So if you want to talk to me in genetics, hang on. In university level, is that good enough for you? In London, is that good enough for you?
Well, which university?
So you want to know exactly which university? What if I said the university that I studied is one of the top universities in the world?
What grade did you get? What grade?
My grade? Do you really want to know my grade as well? To have a conversation? Yes, I had a distinction in my master's. Is that good enough?
No. What
Okay
did you
then.
achieve with it?
Okay, thank you then. So, I mean, have a nice day.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Arrogant people.
I noticed it from the start of the conversation. But straight away, her first question was, her first question was, where's your wife? Her first question.
How are you?